All right, everybody. How are we doing today? Welcome back to another episode of the Robbie Basel Show. I'm Robbie Basel, your usual host. And first off, we have Light back in this room, which is better than last week. And there's a lot to talk about because Friday is going to be the F1 season preview. I'm working on everything, all the rankings. There'll be a couple different sets of rankings, predictions, all of that insanity. That episode goes live on Friday. I'll be recording that. I actually have no idea when I'm recording it yet because I'm not done with some of the notes, and it's been a very stressful week with some of the stuff here at college. So, yeah, a very exciting episode going on Friday because the opening race is on Saturday. Let me know in the comments if I should live stream during the race. I probably won't, but if you guys smash the like button or commented enough, I'll stream during the race. I don't know. Just throwing out that idea. But, yeah, a lot to talk about, ranging from soccer to recent MLB acquisitions, all that insanity. But we will begin today with a little bit of a rant from me. And this is going to go to a sport we don't talk about a lot on this channel, particularly because I don't follow it as much. But last night was the NBA, and I have to talk about this just to give multiple perspectives and just so I can get this off my chest. And because I have the perfect platform to do it. And you guys can agree, disagree, hit the like button. I don't even think you can dislike this stuff anymore. I don't know. But we're going to go to MSG from last night and the critical no call at the end of the game. Now, I have been asked about this one a couple of times. I've reached out to over a dozen people on Instagram, met text message, all of the above, about their thoughts on it. And it came more mixed than I thought, which is concerning. Now, let me explain what happened. So, from my eyes, loose ball, I think it was Thompson and DiVincenzo. You guys can search at the clips. House of Highlights actually is a very good angle. Let me get the exact replay up on my phone real quick, just so I can make sure I have this exactly correct. So as we get with this play, I just have to find it. Here we go. It looks like from a very clear photo that Dante DiVincenzo should have been called for a loose ball foul with about, I'd say, 3 seconds left. And the reason I say that is because there's a very clear image in which Dante DiVincenzo goes underneath Thompson, Azor Thompson, I think that's who it is, which leads, it's a loose ball, no one really had possession. Yes, that's an illegal move, guys. Like, there's no world where should not be a foul. I'm 100% siding with Monty Williams on this. Not because I hate the Knicks, but this is insanity. Let me break it down. The way I'll word it, this is not a basketball play. It's not. No one can. This is what you will see with a hockey player running someone into the boards. You will see this with a regular football tackle. Heck, you may even see it in a baseball fight. But at the end of the day, this is not a legal basketball play. So I don't know what these refs were on, but we're going to look back at it. I have a replay up on my phone. So Thompson gets the ball. It's loose. But DiVincenzo goes underneath it. Like, looks like he goes into his midsection. Like, if I had a soundboard, I would be spamming the ref icon right now because it'd be like, hello, Mr. Official. I don't know how. It's so confusing for me. And let me explain it from this perspective. This is a foul. This is a loose ball foul. It's a turnover. And let me explain it from this. Knicks fans have been complaining about fouls all year. I don't know who brainwashed the Knicks fans thinking this isn't a foul. The terrible biases of the Knicks. Because I don't like the Knicks. For those who don't know, I don't really like the Knicks because of their fans and their incompetence. This is a long story. And this is not a biased take whatsoever, even though it may seem like it now. This is a foul. I think a lot of people can agree with that. Now, I'm going to put this into another perspective here, just to get this out of the way. If the opposite happened with Thompson going into DiVincenzo, and the game ending like that for the Pistons. How would the Knicks fans reacted? Heck, I'll tell you how. They would have flooded Twitter. They would have flooded or X, whatever the hell you call it. They would have flooded Instagram, Threads, whatever that, Facebook, MySpace. Hell, I don't know. They would have flooded social media complaining all the way to Kingdom Come about how this is not a foul. They'll be saying, "Woe is me. What? This is what it's like being a Knicks fan." Shut up. Just shut up. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? Because it does sound stupid. Pistons fans have every right to complain about this. Knicks fans were going off saying this isn't a foul. Like I said, Knicks fans will be complaining to Kingdom Come. So they know this is a foul. But they're just, I don't know, just too stuck up to say nothing? Too incompetent? Too confident in their team? This is horrible. This is a terrible look for the league. Again. Because, yes, the incident with Houston and the Knicks earlier. Was that called justified? Not really. This is worse. 100% worse. Because this is a guy lowering his... he tackles the dude. So I don't know what these refs are on. I don't know if they're okay. Should they be drug tested? I don't know. I might get demonetized. Might have to be taken down at this point. Hell, I don't know. But the officiating in the NBA, like a lot of pro leagues at this point, needs to be questioned. And I don't know. I mean, the league admitted it was wrong. No kidding. You know I wanted to put a curse word in there, but we get demonetized even though I don't make money on this. But this is terrible. Does he secure the ball? No. Does DiVincenzo cause a turnover? Absolutely. Does DiVincenzo do it illegally, though? Legally cause a turnover. 1,000%. This has to be a loose ball foul. You see calls in the college game. Like, if this was in the college game, this is a foul, I don't know. You don't even know what the college game anymore. There's been some really sus officiating lately. Particularly in the NBA. And what we've seen here is that the fact that people don't acknowledge that this is a foul, that the refs were wrong, just because of how stuck up they are, is terrible. Let's have some fun here, chat. Chat, I'm not streaming. Let's see what the comments say. How is it a foul? Looks like they accidentally clashed on a 50-50 loose ball. To be fair, that's a decent shout, but good no call, that's terrible. Good no call. Body checked and still no call. That's exactly a better way I would have worded it. Someone did it as a Roman Reigns spear. Perfect comment there. That would have been called in the NFL? Yeah, 100%. That would have been... would that be called in the NFL? Let me know in the comments. Bro really speared him. If you say clean no call, you're just trolling. That's getting a like from me because he's 100% right. Like, how is this not a foul? If you know the rules, you wouldn't say that. Like, these people, the Knicks fans are terrible. A lot of them are bad. Now, there are Knicks fans that I know personally who are good people. Into the stands, boys. Good people. Shout out to my friends Sean, Tristan, all the boys from back home. Those are all good people. But this stuff on the Instagram comments from this House of Highlights post are so dumb that it doesn't look like these people know the game of basketball. I'm done ranting about this. You'll probably hear more of this tomorrow because this could get much worse for me. But I'm going to stop ranting because we have some news to talk about. Some real news. And we're going to actually begin with something I didn't get to talk about for the last couple of weeks. And that is the Champions League. I have been flabbergasted by some of the results in the Champions League. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over every result from the first week. Briefly go over them. let's waste no time. Let's begin. So we're gonna start us off with how the bracket looks on FootMob, and we'll start with Man City and Copenhagen. Copenhagen. We talked about this game a couple weeks ago, but just for a recap, Man City went up early on. Then Copenhagen equalized, which shocked everyone. But you knew City was winning this game with their 3.44 XG, 27 shots to 4. City's going to win this tie easily, especially with this game matchup going back to the Etihad. Copenhagen's screwed. They got a horrible draw. I don't know what City paid to UEFA. This is terrible. They're going to win. City's going to move on probably in a couple of weeks. But City dominated the match. They swaggered all over the field, and they deserve to win 3-1. Should they have let up the goal to Copenhagen? Probably not, but listen, it was inevitable that something dumb was going to happen in that match. Then we had Real Madrid against Leipzig, and Real Madrid have been in the news recently. For one, for those who remember, we're going to go back to a moment I brought up in episode 1 of this channel, where I brought up the prospect Endrick from Brazil, and he signs officially with Real Madrid in July. Joining Endrick and signing with him in July will probably be Kylian Mbappe, who is reportedly close to signing with Real Madrid, which kind of sucks. I wanted him on Arsenal, but at the end of the day, there's no way this guy was signing for Arsenal. But this team has been dealing with injury woes. Brahim Diaz, there's a couple of names, because Brahim Diaz is the only goal scorer in the first leg of the Champions League tie between Leipzig and Real Madrid. Now, did Real Madrid outclass Leipzig off the field? Absolutely not. Do Leipzig have a chance to win this tie? Absolutely. But I'm really expecting Real Madrid to close it out. They're playing at the Bernabeu. It's going to be a fun game, though. The problem I had was that the match ratings for a lot of these players were so good, yet no one really did a lot. I'm looking at this from the numbers. Like, Brahim Diaz is the best player on the field for Real Madrid, other than their goalkeeper, Andriy Lunin, the Ukrainian goalkeeper. Like, there's no one that's on the field that's screaming, "Oh my God, they're insane." Like, Jude Bellingham is out right now. Militao out. Courtois tore his ACL injury. Same with Alaba. They have no Antonio Rudiger. I mean, heck, they didn't even start Modric this match, and they still won. I mean, they even have Kepa, and they're not starting Kepa. They've started Lunin. Lunin looked great. Camavinga was Camavinga because he had an 8.0 match rating, because he's doing Camavinga things. Real Madrid should win this tie, but at the end of the day, who the hell knows? We don't know anything. This tie can go either way, though it should be won by Real Madrid. And we'll talk about that the second leg once we get closer to the second leg. Speaking of Mbappe, he scored in PSG's win over Real Sociedad. PSG dominated this game, had more shots, more XG, more possession. They missed a lot of key chances. They missed one key chance. They had the more key chances to begin with. They were better. They were just better in every asset of the game. They deserve to win. I'm not going to talk about this one very much. Despite Donnarumma's 6.8, there was not a lot of players who looked really bad. One player I thought was impactful was Vitinha. He had a good match. You had Fabian Ruiz, also very impactful. Barcola scored, the 21-year-old Frenchman. And Real Sociedad were never able to get anything really going. So in what could be the last couple of games for Mbappe at PSG, PSG went on, won the first leg. They deserved to win. Nothing really has been chaotic so far in the Champions League. Every game has gone to plan. And then we have this one with the return leg next week. Bayern just losing to Lazio. And to make this even more funny, what happened was Upamecano, you know that from the France song, got a red card. The Italians got a penalty. Lazio led 1-0, and they went out and won 1-0. Like, the stats are going to prove it here. Lazio are the better team. Did they get outshot? 100%. Did they have the better shots? 100%. And I forgot to mention, Alphonso Davies possibly signed with Real Madrid as well. This could be the last good chance for Bayern. The way Leverkusen looks, Bayern's not going to win the right now. It does not look like they're going to win the Bundesliga. Like they're getting out, and Bayern are currently getting outclassed by players like Matteo Guendouzi, Ciro Immobile. You had a good match from Gustav Isaksen, who had .87 xG by himself. Luis Alberto, the Spaniard. No one really impressed me from Bayern. I mean, Upamecano got a red card, and then Upamecano got a red card again in the next Bundesliga match, which is kind of funny. But Neuer, not a good match. Kim and Jae was solid in defense, but this game was horrible. Lazio deserved to win. Lazio have a chance to give the biggest upset of the tournaments, of the knockouts so far. To the bottom left portion of my bracket, we have Inter Milan beating Atletico Madrid 1-0, courtesy of a 79th minute goal by Marco Arnautovic to give Inter Milan the win. Listen, I love this tie from the beginning. This is the most balanced tie. Inter Milan should have scored multiple goals. They missed a couple of really key chances, and so did Atletico Madrid. They did miss some key chances. But when you have 4 times the XG, with 2.3 XG, 1 goal, 19 shots to 7, Atletico Madrid had a lot of problems going against this Inter team. Inter's players, who did I like in this match? I liked the play of Barella. I liked the play of Lautaro Martinez, who scored the goal. The back 3 looked great. I mean, they play what this is a 3-5-2, but more looks like a 5-3-2 because those very outside players can sink back into the wing, into like a wing back. But the 5 at the back, or the 5 in the midfield, whatever you want to call it, were very impactful. Mkhitaryan in midfield was all right. Çalhanoğlu was pretty good. Tarama was okay. He did 7.0, but got subbed off at halftime. Was there any players that came on that were good? Oh, wait, Arnautovic was a substitute. That's right. The Austrian went out and scored the goal. He had 1.51 XG by himself. The 5 at the back of Atletico Madrid did not work to counter the possible 5 midfielders, depending on how you look at it. From Inter, Antoine Griezmann did nothing. This is a problem. Atletico Madrid has a real chance to get outclassed by Inter in the second leg. It's going to be a back and forth. I'm very excited to see how that match goes. They don't play for 2 weeks. At least we get a little bit of a break before that Champions League fixture, because that game is going to be fun. PSV played Dortmund at 1-1. Daniel Malin scored, and then there's a penalty for PSV, which was like a little bit of a conflicting one for me. Luke de Jong got the penalty converted, and the game ended 1-1. Now, the PSG squandered a lot of chances in the first half, but Dortmund capitalized, led by the former PSV player in Malin. He scored, but Matt Hummels caught Tillman in the box, and then De Jong converted the spot kick. The second leg is going to be in Dortmund. I'm intrigued to see how that looks. I like Dortmund's chances a lot, especially that if you look at the stats, they didn't really get outclassed. You could argue they got outclassed 1.5 XG to 0.86. But I don't think that justifies the flow of play from Dortmund, because I thought they were the better team for the majority of it. They just let up a couple of big XG chances. I mean, heck, they only allowed 2 big chances according to FootMob, so that's pretty good from the Dortmund defense. Serginho Dest actually made a couple of nice plays. Shout out to the Americans, which I'm wearing the kit today. I'm wearing the Pulisic kit, even though Pulisic's not in the Champions League. And we'll head over to the next game, which was Arsenal 1. Well, I wish it was Arsenal 1. And it was a Porto 1, Arsenal 0. Sorry about that, guys. Porto beat Arsenal 1-0. Arsenal did not have a shot on goal. It was pathetic. This game sucked. Just quick, Porto scored the winner. It should have been saved by Raya. But right now, I don't know. It's a conflicting one for me. Porto were better than Arsenal. A lot of players caused a lot of problems for the Gunners. I was able to watch the full highlights of this game because I wanted to see what went terribly wrong. And the players who I liked in this one, the 4-2-3-1 really worked against Arsenal. You talk about guys. I like the defense a lot. João Mario, Pepe, Otavio. They all looked good. Galeno was the one who scored, by the way. But Arteta, I don't know. I mean, they only made one change. I think they're going to go way more aggressive at the Emirates in a couple of weeks, which one you would expect. But Rui Costa didn't have to do very much. I see that's Diogo Costa. Rui Costa, that's Roy Patricio, who's who I'm thinking of. I mixed the two names together. Didn't have to really do much, anything at all. And Arsenal are now on the on the top rope, possibly or about to. They have a good chance, I think, of losing to Porto and being eliminated in the Champions League, which brings the question, how are they so bad against the Portuguese? Finally, we have Napoli against Barcelona. We opened up with Lewandowski actually scoring a goal. Then Victor Osimhen converted the equalizer. Then Victor Osimhen got injured in a different match last week. But not a lot of good XG chances. This game kind of sucked. Now I'm being brutally honest here. Barcelona had more shots, but they weren't high XG shots at all. They didn't really have one clear big chance in the match other than the goal from Lewandowski. But it was a 1-1, pretty balanced 1-1. They're going to go back to Barcelona, where I'm expecting Barcelona to win. But the last time we saw this tie was in the Europa League a couple of years ago. And Barcelona in the second leg went up 3-0 early. So I'm expecting something similar to that. But listen, it's this Barcelona group. You have no idea what to expect. Who they're throwing out on the field. Pedri had a good match. I like it's Lamine Yamal. My apologies. I'm expecting more from Frankie de Jong. 6.8 rating against Napoli. What are we doing here? Gun to gun's impactful every time I feel like he plays. But yeah, not an intriguing tie. I mean, it wasn't an intriguing first leg, but an intriguing second leg to come from Napoli and Barcelona. A lot of intriguing second legs. We get to talk about them more next week when the Champions League returns. I'm very intrigued when the Champions League comes back because if you look at the fixtures, we return right when we go live on Tuesday. I'm hopefully going to do an earlier episode so it possibly comes out before the games, but I don't think it will because of the timing of my classes and other obligations. So yeah, well, we might bring it up a little bit before on Friday, but just to give you what games to watch are on Tuesday, it's Bayern Lazio 3 o'clock and Real Sociedad against PSG. This week's second legs are at 3 o'clock. Sorry, next week's second legs are at 3 o'clock, and then the following week it's all 4 o'clock games. But we'll talk about that more once we get closer to match day. Speaking of match day, let's go quickly over to the Prem, and we'll talk about the best games from last week, from the weekend. Starting us off, we had Fulham just beat United. Does it make any sense this league anymore? Absolutely not. Do United still have a chance to get a good European spot? Absolutely. It's annoying. It's stupid. United got out. I mean, Fulham scored, and then an 89th minute goal from Harry Maguire leveled the match, and I thought it was over. And then former Arsenal player Alex Iwobi with a 97th, an extremely late goal to win the match. I was in a ref class for my soccer badge, my soccer referee badge, and we found out in the middle of class that Iwobi scored a 97th minute winner. Absolute carnage everywhere within the group. But yeah, United, they have a lot of intriguing pieces. What happened to Rashford, dude? He's so irrelevant this year. 5 goals? He's less goals still, I believe, than Scott McTominay. Let me make sure of that. Let's go to United stats. Let's just rant about United real quick, because they're terrible. Their leading goal scorer is Rasmus Højlund and Scott McTominay. And then their next leading goal scorers are Garnacho and Rashford. That's not good. On top of that, they get very lucky with playing in the FA Cup tomorrow. So the FA Cup is back. We'll talk about that in a moment. But Fulham beat United. They deserve to beat United. Fulham with a massive result at Old Trafford. I think it's like one of the few times. It's like their first or second ever time winning at Old Trafford. So shout out to Fulham. And they actually have an American in Jedi Robinson and Tim Ream. So shout out Fulham. What another intriguing result? I like the way Aston Villa played. They won 4-2 over Nottingham Forest. Brighton drew Everton. Speaking of Everton, they had their points deduction reduced earlier at the end of last week. So shout out Everton. They are not going to bottle it. They are now 5 points clear, I think. Yeah, they're now 5 points clear of the drop, which puts Nottingham in 17th. So Luton is going to have a much higher rope to climb. Is that the saying? Mountain to climb. That's what the saying goes. As Everton went out and got some points back. So shout out Everton. They deserved it. They got really screwed. And that's pretty much it. They went out and drew Brighton. So that's a very good result for Everton. As like I said, they're now 5 points clear of the drop. One team who hasn't played a Prem match in a while was Luton. They played in the midweek. They lost to Liverpool 4-1, which was unfortunate. And then I'm just trying to figure out about Luton's lost their last 3, so that could be a problem. Also, Everton hasn't won in a while, but they've still drawn 4 of 5, so they're unbeaten in 4 of their last 5, which is absolutely hilarious. A team that's been on a tear though lately, Fulham. They've won 2 of 3, so they're getting right back into it a little bit, which fair play to Fulham. City beat Bournemouth, and it was only 1-0, and it was kind of balanced the whole way. Now, did some players really suck? Absolutely. Dominic Solanke, 6.1. He's really fallen back to earth. He had the least amount of touches of any outfield player who played in the full match. Haaland, though, did nothing either. 6.5, only 0.43 XG by himself. He only had 2 shots in the whole game, so that's an interesting one. The goal scored by Phil Foden, which brought up the question, who's better, Phil Foden or Bukayo Saka? I think it depends on what part we're talking about here. Overall, like statistics-wise, let's look at it, chat. Phil Foden, who started his senior career in 2016, 76 goals in 256 Premier League fixtures. Now, for Arsenal, I don't think Bukayo Saka's played as many matches. He scored 13 goals this year, to be fair. But his career stats are he's played less games and he's had less goals. So I think adjusted, the stats are pretty similar. Bukayo Saka, who started his career 2 years later, has 54 goals in 213 Premier League fixtures. He's also played in the Arsenal Academy since his under-18s days. So he 213 games, 54 goals in his senior career. I think that's very respectable. Now, who would I rather have on the football pitch? I'd rather Bukayo Saka personally, not because I'm an Arsenal fan, but I think Saka, if you're talking about right now, with their current run of form, it's Bukayo Saka. On a national team stage, it's Bukayo Saka, even though he missed a penalty. If I want a penalty, I'd probably take Foden, because, listen, he didn't miss a penalty in the World Cup or in the Euros. But right now, I think it's Bukayo Saka is the better player, because he just offers more on the field. He also, I don't know what Foden's overall rating is for this season. Let's take a look at that, chat. Phil Foden's ratings is 7.7. Bukayo Saka's an 8.1. So you can take that how you will, but Foden is not the leading goal scorer on his own. I mean, it's Haaland's in front of him, but Foden with only 9 goals, Bukayo Saka with 13, and goals are evenly spread around both teams. So I don't know. It's a very interesting conversation, but City only won 1-0 over Bournemouth with Foden scoring the winner. Arsenal rebounded after their horrible performance on Wednesday. They beat Newcastle 4-1. They dominated the flow of play all the way down the field. Own goals started off. Then Kai Havertz scored again. Bukayo Saka scored in that. And then Jakub Kiwior finally got a goal for Arsenal. Shout out to him. He's actually looked really good recently. I've been a very big critic of Kiwior. I didn't really like him. He's actually grown into that into that fullback role pretty well. So Newcastle got a late goal back with Joe Willock, but at the end of the day, it did not matter. Arsenal, with another win, they are on a tear in the Premier League in 2024. They are 2 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool's next game is against Nottingham Forest. City play United this weekend, which we'll talk about that game in a moment. And Arsenal get a very incredible matchup. They get Sheffield, which, if they lose to Sheffield, that's a problem. But any other matchups to really talk about? Not really. West Ham beat Brentford on on Monday, so that's the only one I would talk about. Games to watch out for this weekend. There's not a lot of good choices. I would put Aston Villa on possible upset alert. They're going to Kenilworth Road. They're playing Luton Town, who play City tomorrow, which, what is this schedule? But I feel bad for Luton because I think they should be focusing on the Villa game because they're not beating City unless they go like full first team. It's at Kenilworth, so they might have a chance, but I don't know. I will be watching that game tomorrow, but I think it's all to play for in this game against Aston Villa. Any other teams that upset watch? Wolves against Newcastle, I think, can go back and forth. I think West Ham could be in trouble against Everton because Everton just don't lose. It might lead up to a draw. And then on Sunday, of course, we have Manchester City against Manchester United. I like City in this game. It's at the Etihad Stadium. Give me a 3-1 to City. Just throwing out the result. And then Monday, it's Arsenal. They go on the road to Sheffield United. I think Arsenal win this game very comfortably. Actually, let me word that. I think Sheffield might score an early goal. Arsenal overconfident, possibly rotating. I think Sheffield could possibly cause some problems with Archer and company, but I think Arsenal do win this game. Give me a 2-1 Arsenal win. It's not going to look pretty, but I think Arsenal get it done. As that is the Premier League. Quickly, we'll head to the FA Cup. I'm not singing the song. I am not singing the song, chat. Not doing it. The games for this week, we had Coventry against Maidstone. Bournemouth and Leicester is today, at the time of recording this video. They are in progress. Blackburn's playing Newcastle. Luton's actually playing City today, which I could not have been more wrong about. I will be probably watching that as I do some homework. Chelsea's playing Leeds. Nottingham Man United. Wolves, Brighton, and Liverpool, Southampton. We kicked it off yesterday. Coventry beat Maidstone 5-0, which I felt bad for Maidstone. For those who don't remember, Maidstone are from the 6th Division. They made it this far. Shout out Maidstone. Unfortunately, Coventry ran them off the field. Coventry, with the gift of a draw, advanced to the quarterfinals. Then we had today Bournemouth. Like I mentioned, let's pick some of the games. Bournemouth-Leicester is in progress right now. Bournemouth is actually looking way better, which I did not expect. But Bournemouth, I don't know. A lot of these I've expected to go to a replay. The only upset I could really see is Nottingham over Manchester United. That's the only upset I could really think of. But Nottingham have looked really bad recently. But I don't expect this. Someone will win this game. I don't expect it to be a draw. Also, United are unbeaten in their last 5 away games, including wins against Luton and Aston Villa. So I think United will win this, but I do think Nottingham will cause some problems. Other upsets, there's really not much here. Blackburn's playing Newcastle. Maybe Blackburn gets a win. Blackburn haven't looked like that insane. They actually haven't started yet, which is really weird. I don't know why FootMob's maybe not loading the game. But the FA Cup, it's going to go back and forth. We'll possibly look at it next week when the draw comes out. But the FA Cup, very interesting situation over there. Quickly, we'll give also this week is the NFL Combine. A lot to go over there. I'll recap probably most of that on Tuesday as well. A lot to recap on Tuesday. Just thinking about it now. But let's talk some Major League Baseball because spring training's begun. The Mets look terrible. And there are a couple of injuries. A free agency signing happened very recently. A couple of them. So let's break it down. So the New York Mets are lost Kodai Senga. He's starting the season, I believe, on the injured list, which sucks, but what can you do? We also have Cody Bellinger was the big move this week. He re-signed with Chicago. So let's pull this up. Cody Bellinger's new contract, which with the Chicago Cubs, which we all knew was going to happen, but it was just a matter of time when this would happen. So Cody Bellinger went out and signed an $80 million contract extension with the Cubs. 3 years, $80 million. Did the Cubs win this deal? 100%. This is the exact deal I think Chicago was looking for. Bellinger, I think, actually got more money, but the inconsistency probably brought it back down to earth with the possible prices. But right now, Scott Boras' clients are all in trouble here. Like, Blake Snell is still a free agent. And it's February 27th. Jordan Montgomery, I don't think he's represented by Boras, but he's still a free agent. He was actually talking to Boston yesterday. Which, why would he go to Boston if he wants to possibly play for a contender, or he's getting the bag? It's a weird one. But what a good move by Chicago. It gives them hope. Hope that they deserve. Like, this Cubs team is now pretty decent. You have the likes of returning Cody Bellinger, stealing the rotation, hopefully other healthy pieces. If everyone stays healthy, this team will likely be winning the division. Right now, I think the Central is going to come down to the Cubs and the Reds. I like the Cubs winning this division right now with the return of Bellinger. If he plays similar to last year, could they be regressing? Yeah. Could the division winner need to win only like 83 games? 100%. 100%. This division is terrible, chat. Why am I'm not streaming. Keep forgetting I'm not streaming. I talked to the chat last week on the Into the Stands. A link in the description to check out the last episode. And I have that tendency now to do that. So Cody Bellinger signs with the Cubs. Big time move. I love it. Chicago won. Bellinger got some more money, which is a win for him too. And this could really change the way we look at the NL Central a little bit. 3-year, $80 million extension, Cody Bellinger. Next up was Brandon Crawford. He signed with the Cardinals, which makes no sense because the Cardinals suck. I mean, they traded a lot of big pieces, and the Cardinals signed a 1-year deal to Brandon Crawford. So the idea here, according to sources, is that he's going to be rotating with rookie sensation Mason Wynn. I like Mason Wynn, by the way. I think he's going to be really good. But he also had the injury with Tommy Edman. This is why this deal happened. I think they're more of the injury with Edman than the call-up of Mason Wynn. Listen, the Cardinals, I think for Crawford, this is a weird one. Because I thought he would go to a contender. But I don't think a lot of contenders would want a defensive first shortstop. So going to the Cardinals maybe makes a little bit more sense, but I don't know. You take it with a grain of salt, I think. Listen, I like Brandon Crawford. I've always liked Brandon Crawford. I hated to face him, but man, it's going to be weird to see Brandon Crawford in another jersey. Really is. Another thing to watch out for in spring training was that I think this needs to be brought up. The terrible uniforms. Now, the uniforms, it's like the see-through pants. You can see like the bottom of the end of the jersey. The letters look kind of mid. The whole jersey situation MLB like this year looks kind of trash. So I ain't buying a jersey this year. I never really buy jerseys to begin with. But that's another thing just to watch out for is the terrible jerseys. Hopefully they figure that out at some point this season, or I don't think Major League Baseball will have a lot of jerseys bought this season. And in other news, Juan Soto is pretty good. He's balling out right now for the Yankees in spring training, albeit in spring training. So he's like pretty good, but man, there's not a lot of other stories on Major League Baseball other than watch some spring training games. Also, shout out Daniel Murphy. He was on the SNY broadcast a couple of days, I think, very recently. And I love Daniel Murphy, so even though he played for the Nationals, I still love Daniel Murphy. Any other moves to talk about? There was a couple of interesting NFL cuts this week that I will talk about. First of off, we have Xavier Howard getting cut by the Dolphins. Now, they said it was predictable. I don't think it was. Cutting Emmanuel Ogbah, that was obvious. But now, two big corners are on the market. Xavier Howard and L'Jarius Sneed. This is great for the free agency market. The Dolphins save a lot of cap space. So you see why they could possibly have done it. But Xavier Howard's really good. I think he's going to be able to get a good contract still in free agency this year. He's so good. He had a bad season, but one bad season really shouldn't throw away what this guy's done for the team. He's a multiple time. I think he's a multiple time Pro Bowler. He's looked so good for the Dolphins. According to sources, the Chiefs GM may use the tag on either Chris Jones or L'Jarius Sneed. I'd personally put it on L'Jarius Sneed and then re-sign Chris Jones because you're not going to be able to keep both of them unless you tag one and sign the other. So I think taking L'Jarius Sneed off the market would be very beneficial here. But that's just me. Cincinnati is going to tag T. Higgins. I actually didn't think that was going to happen for the money that the franchise tag was. But at the end of the day, I don't think the Bengals now. I think Tyler Boyd's likely gone from the Bengals. In other news, the Buccaneers GM is trying to re-sign Mike Evans. I don't think Evans stays. I think he wants to play for a legitimate Super Bowl contender, which now could really point him to the Kansas City Chiefs. In other news, the Bears will be making their call for QB. In their GM's words, ASAP. I feel bad for Justin Fields. I just have to bring that up. I feel horrible for Justin Fields because he's not that as bad as people think he is. I really don't think so. He brings a lot of good things to the table. He's getting killed in Chicago. Put this guy behind a competent offensive line, and he will be a very good player for any team with a competent offensive line. I think he'll actually improve a lot of teams. There's a couple of teams I do see him being sent to that could really use him. I mean, I thought if Geno was getting cut in Seattle, maybe the Seahawks trade for Fields, but now that's not looking likely because I don't think Geno's getting cut over there. So also in other news, the Russell Wilson situation. We're going to find out what's going to be going down with Russ in the next couple of weeks, which is going to be very exciting. I think that's going to be a very interesting possibility over there. Finally, last two notes that I have. Devontae Adams will not be traded by the Las Vegas Raiders, according to their GM. And the Vikings GM has not considered trading Justin Jefferson, which why would you trade him unless he's on the last year of a contract? Let me see if he is on the last year of his contract. I mean, if you haven't gotten close to a long-term extension yet, but so if they get multiple first-round picks for him, though, I imagine if that is a possibility, just to bring that up there, I think that could be very exciting. But I don't think they will trade Justin Jefferson. I think he's going to be a Minnesota Viking for a very, very, very long time. For now, things can change. Things can very much change. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And on that note, that'll be the end of today's episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. Friday is the F1 season preview. I'm so excited to bring it to you guys. You don't want to miss it. But for now, I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. Into the stands tomorrow. But on this channel, I'll see you guys Friday. Enjoy your week. Goodbye, everyone.